Good evening, my dear televiewers. Once again, welcome to our weekly show, My Politics. This is your host, Art Barrit. Our guest this evening is a known personality, not only in Cebu, but likewise in the community among friends and among non-government organizations. And this evening, we'll not be discussing about politics, not because we shy away political discussion on political issues and concerns, but we will be discussing about an equally important issue, my dear televiewers, which, of course, you know very well that one of the trending issues nowadays is about community pantries. And it's, I'm happy to inform you that mura ni siya og forerunner of this particular innovative program. My friends, help me welcome Miss Pamela Baricuatro. Pam, good evening and welcome to my show.
Good evening, Art. It's so nice to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm so delighted to be here.
It's my pleasure, good Pam.
Maragida ko akong atay ito yung introduction.
Okay, Pam. Could you tell us about what is this Simply Care Foundation?
Simply
It's
Share.
all about.
Simply Share Foundation is about hunger, children, food security. I founded this foundation, Art, 6 years ago na di ay, 2015, yeah. Because as you know, I traveled the world because I was a flight attendant for Cathay Pacific for the past 20 years.
Okay, okay.
So I've been going around the world, and I said it's time to give back. I've been away from the Philippines for so long. So nangita gigog advocacy,
Okay.
which is very close to my heart. And then based on research and what I've noticed nga ang hunger jud is a very big problem sa society karon.
Yes, yes.
And I've always wondered ngano ang ato ang country, for a third world country, wala tay food banks around the Philippines, functioning ones. And Singapore and Hong Kong, daghan kay sila food bank, and this is just small, compared to the Philippines. And yet daghan kay sila food banks, So I've wondered, and then that's how, and I was just fortunate enough that I have friends who helped me set up the foundation. So that's how I get started.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that you were once before a flight stewardess of an international airline,
Yeah.
the Cathay Pacific.
Yeah.
So, with your experience sa imuhang pag-adto, pagbisita sa lain mga nasod, so you have this kind of program nga imuhang nakitaan that you wanted to replicate here in our city or in the country.
Yes, Art, that's what I've said earlier about food banks. And also one thing I've noticed, a lot of food waste in the aircraft. And we used to live in hotels, manggod, diba? When we fly, hotels, and then I see it in aircraft. The aircraft, the mga food waste, and
Yeah,
I've started to wonder what it's all about. So muna I tried to do research, and I've seen so dako jud kay problema ang ato ang especially our country, there's no food waste management. And you know what, Art, the reason jud nga it's food waste doesn't really make sense.
Okay.
Kaya nga daghan na excess food karon
Yeah.
in the world. According to UN, 17% excess food for everyone.
Okay.
And yet 800 million people are hungry. So you'd wonder why. Ngano ni nga ingon ani ang situation. So as I went along, I talked with other NGOs like WWF.
Okay.
And then I realized nga mo sad, hunger now is not an issue of food. It's a logistics.
Okay.
And food bank is one solution to hunger good.
Okay.
Kaya ang kanimang kong food banking, Art, it impacts two things. First, hunger, and the other one is food waste.
Okay.
Food banking basically is redirecting surplus food to those facing hunger. And at the same time, it also addresses food waste. Kaya instead of ang pagkaon ma-wasted, ato na lang ihatag sa food bank. And kaning food bank is the one giving it all over the community, which one of those are soup kitchens and also kaning community pantries.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Pam, how do you relate, or how do you correlates. Let's say, for instance, I'm in a hotel business, okay? And you have this particular project or program with food banking, collecting whatever waste or food waste they have. And then you have here the Department of Health, which do not allow excess food or food from the kitchen to be used or to be eaten by
The public.
by the public. So unsa na siya nimo Miss Pam?
Mao bitaw na siya art now necessary good kaayo nga na ay food bank because most of these establishments they don't want to give directly to the public because
Okay.
they will be responsible in case there's food poisoning.
Yes.
However, if there's food banks, then the food they give it directly to the food bank and then nana na sila indemnity there na whatever happens they're not responsible for it na.
Okay.
So it's the food banks who takes care of it.
I see.
So that's how it goes.
So, nakakita ka ani sa gawas or how they do it and how they operate a food bank, a real food bank, Pam?
Yeah, I've went around and I've seen how it works. Ang kanilang food banking art, it really solves hunger. Because as you know, my advocacy is hunger, right? So saan man pag-solve sa hunger na it's always been there, di ba? Since time immortal, you know.
Yes, yes.
So one of the causes of hunger is inadequate. We thought it's inadequate food, but actually there is excess
And
food.
very ironical for an agricultural country.
Exactly.
So to speak.
So wala lang yun na siya na redistribute to those who need it. That's what I'm saying earlier, that this community pantry really works. Because if you have a food bank, ang imuhag yung distribution arm ani is like soup kitchens.
Okay.
And kaning community pantries and all those NGOs who are feeding, mga feeding programs. So maayo good nga naay food bank para naay naabitoy ka ng collecting body for food na mo waste na unta ba like sa mga hotels, some of them they just throw out, di ba? So mo ni siya kolektahon ni siya para we can give to our to those.
You have already a sort of a storage facility, complete storage setup or facility for that matter.
Mauna art, now we need to work with LGUs. Actually, food banking is a collaboration between business, government, and civil society. So necessary unta na mo work ta with the local governments because they will give us the facility.
Okay.
Like now my foundation has been doing food banking, no? And my garage is full of food stuff right now. And we were working with the Mabolo Parish. So during the pandemic, we placed all the collected food in the social hall. So
yeah. So with this kind of approach, have you coordinated with the local government unit in the country?
Oh yes.
How about in the national level?
We have been 2016 we had a hunger summit here in Cebu with Rise Against Hunger and Secretary Jeresa was here.
Okay.
So we were asking the government to have a zero hunger commission that would deal with food banks and at least major food banks all over the country, but it took a while, you know how the bureaucracy is in government sometimes are. So what turns out that one of my partners, Rise Against Hunger Philippines, started the first food bank in Tondo because they're being helped by San Miguel Corporation.
I see.
So that's the first functioning food bank. I'm trying to work here in Cebu. I was working with Councilor Alvin Dizon. He sponsored a bill on food waste, ordinance on food waste, and food donation. And we did our IRR. It was very good, but it's still on the table of the
How about an executive order coming from the president, Ms. Pam, considering that your husband is also very much close to the president?
I at the start I talked with one of the secretaries, and then but eventually, good thing now, Cabsec Nograles took interest. So he established the Zero Hunger, the Interagency Task Force on Zero Hunger. And they started Pilipinas Contra Gutom. Yeah, so the administration.
That's a good start.
Yeah,
how many agencies that are involved?
Yeah, on the big scheme of things, policy, it should be the national government. There are things that we can do for
Have you
ourselves
tried also coordinating with the different NGOs that will tackle and will address this particular problem?
Oh yes, Art. Actually, there has to be a system of coordination here. Collaboration. Actually,
Okay.
we really cannot do it on our own. As they say, the more the merrier, right? So
Yeah.
I'm lucky. I'm fortunate enough to be able to work with other NGOs like Rise Against Hunger Philippines, who've been sending us food from donated by San Miguel Corporation.
Okay.
What happens, Manggod ay, Art, kaning mga corporations, they need kuan magud kana bitong
Yeah, so,
from the tax break. Yeah, they,
implement the program under
Yeah.
the community social
Tax-
responsibility, something like that.
yes, they need a tax exemption or something. So NGOs would be able to give. So Rise Against Hunger is the one taking care of it with San Miguel. So all the excess food, surplus food, we rescue. We will rescue. That's what they call food rescue. We rescue it na mo lagi unta na we wanted to work with local governments para kanang naami, where we can put the stock the food.
Yeah, in choosing the beneficiaries, Pam, unsa na ninyo pagpili or hatod sa inyong program?
Yes, I've said, Art, it's logistics. Hunger is not about food anymore because there's surplus food. It's really about logistics. So that's ana na diha magdaog bitaw. So what we do is we rescue food, and then we have like during the pandemic we give those rescued food to soup kitchen. I run soup kitchen also with the Philippine Navy Reservists, and there's also one in Mabolo with the church, and also the Project Smile of Consular Dizon, So we have kanang mga suki na mga kuan bitaw, Art, na mga nag soup kitchen and pantry. So now that the community pantries are mushrooming, so it's a very good distribution point for those people na facing hunger.
More or less, you have the same approach with the community pantry. So it's more of it's not more of feeding, but it's not more of food banking, but it's a collection of food to be given to individuals.
Mao gyud na, Art. Ideally for a food bank na gyud na kanang soup kitchen and community pantry.
Okay.
Kay normally kanang mga non-perishables mo na siya for community pantries.
Okay.
And ang kanang mga perishable nga near expiry na gyud, nga hapit na gyud kuan so muna kinahanglan na gyud na siya lutuon dayon. So ideally for a food bank, there has to be a soup kitchen and community pantries.
I see.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of socio-civic organizations, Pam, that are doing this particular or this kind of program every now and then. No? You have the Rotary, you have the Lions Club, you have the JCs. But have they also approached you and then gusto sila maminaw or nangayog idea from you?
Yes, yeah. Yeah, actually
Good,
during the pandemic I was working with Rotary Metro. That's the one in Waterfront, no?
Okay.
With nila Bubong. Yeah, so I was Ed Gaisano, I think is the president now. So they're very receptive. In fact, they guested me in one of their meetings, and they let me talk about food banking and food waste. So I've been collaborating with them, and I've been during the pandemic. I think we served around 500,000 meals.
Wow.
Yeah, during the pandemic since it started, and until now we're still serving. I'm still supporting all this.
So it's a good project indeed, no? Nga ingon ani kalakiha Pam nga ma-replicate ni to the different barangays in the city. So it's not a problem really of food. We have enough. We have excess.
Yes.
We have enough.
We have food, Art.
Okay, it's just a problem of
Logistics lang yun.
support or implementation of unsaon ni pada nga dili lang ni malabay, something like that.
Exactly. Policy good na, Art. On the macro level, it's policy, and on the micro level, it's us. Like we can do something about food waste also. Yeah.
So, could you tell also our televiewers, Pam, nga naa kay imong lain nga program on how to implement kining lugaw, kining feeding adto sa mga kabataan?
I started with that, Art, sa Simply Share Foundation. I was into feeding, and then I realized this has to be sustainable. I cannot just I have to find a way where I can get food. So that's how I discovered food banking also, yeah. And we've been feeding. Actually, Carmen, we started with Carmen, huh? Carmen, when we started feeding there, they were number 2 in the with so many kind of undernourished children. Number 2 sila sa Region 7.
Okay.
But after 2 years, they're already like number 9, and now I think they're not
You
there
mean to say
anymore.
the municipality of Carmen? The
Yeah,
town in the
yeah.
north?
In Barangay Baring, I've been feeding children there, and we've been feeding also in Apo Elementary School, Punta Princesa Elementary School. I think the one in Lahug also, Apas. I've fed there with Kusina Kalinga.
Okay.
And Pinamangahan, you know, of course, my hometown. I've been
Okay.
also feeding there.
We'll discuss more and we'll talk about more on food banking with the Simple Share Foundation Incorporated with our guest this evening, Ms. Pam Baricuatro. Don't go away. Good evening once again. Welcome to our weekly show, My Politics. This is your host, Art Barrit. Our guest this evening is the Executive Director of the Simply Share Foundation Incorporated, Ms. Pamela Baricuatro. Ms. Pam, ang ato ang isgutan, and I've read in the local papers that sometime a year or so ago, you had a program here in Cebu City. Actually, it was initiated by the WWF, Worldwide Fund for Nature, and it has something to do with food awareness program. And you were one of the discussants at that particular program on sustainable dinner. What's it all about?
Art, kanang sa program sa the WWF, it's about food waste awareness.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. So you have also concentrated on that particular issue.
Yeah, as I've said earlier, food waste and food banking is interrelated. That's why I was in the program, because
I
they want
see.
me to talk about food banking.
I see.
Actually, it was Jomar Fleras from
Okay.
Rise Against Hunger Philippines who was speaking when they had a program in Manila. So when they
Okay.
came to Cebu, Jomar asked me to talk about it.
I see.
So you see, Art, they want people to be aware
Okay.
that food waste is detrimental to the planet. It's
Okay.
very bad for the environment. Kabaw ba ka, Art, na 8% of kanang methane bitaw na emission sa greenhouse gas is from food waste.
Wow.
So kanang naa sa mga landfill na mga pagkaon, kana siya, you know, it's even 12% more lethal than carbon
Wow.
CO2 ha, carbon dioxide. So mauna nga they're telling people nga discourage people from kuan good having food waste. So mas maayo nga daghan sila mga ways bitaw nga how to cut waste food waste, Art. Because I don't know, kita ang Pinoy di juta ko ano ganing actually kana mga karaan atong mga ginikanan kay numdum ka maana sila nga uy ay nagusiking pagkaon kay daghang kay white kaon. Well, actually that's what they're telling us now.
Yes.
Yeah, usa ka cause sa food waste, Art. Kana bitong mga mangumpra kanya kita ko mga kana bitong gitawag nila cosmetic standards nato nga uy kabati ani ko ano man ni kanang bunog na di nato gamiton, di nato paliton. Actually kana siya maadto na sa waste. So sayang kaayo. So, you know, if we see mga inani ba, we'll just buy it. Parihara man gihapon na, mo nagiingon nila, parihara man gihapon na siya is also as nutritious. Kita grabe lang ka itaog ka ng emphasis bitaw sa kanang kung unsay nindot, unsay
Kana yung gwapa mo
kana
atong
yung
paliton.
gwapa nya
Okay.
luoy kay itong mga kuan di na to ma-waste na to. Another thing also is overbuying. Ako, I'm guilty of that. So, nana ka sa SMR, makalimot na kasi, pamalit. And then, turns out, malabay ra na siya. So, asa ni maadto na sa nis landfills. So, usasad ka ng overportions na to, nga, we cook more than what we need.
Yeah. Okay.
Usasad na.
Okay. No, it's a good program initiated and espoused by the WWF because loss of biodiversity, impacting the planet on climate change and all others, no? So, particular issue on food awareness program, dako kayo siya. Now, what are the challenges, Pam, on in implementing the program?
Food waste?
Yeah.
It's very, I think it starts with, as I've said earlier, ba? No, we have to be conscious about it, you know. And then on a macro level, the government should take interest in it, you know. But right now in Congress, there's already bills in food waste and food donation, so which is very good. But we never had this years ago. But now we're because of the advocacy and kanang lobbying sa mga NGOs. Like WWF. So also it's getting to be, people are getting to be aware of it. Like kami ni Jomar sa Rise Against Hunger Philippines, the executive director, we've been talking to mga hearings sa Senate, sa Congress, you know, about food waste and food banking. Kay, as I've said earlier, art interrelated bang ni sila good. So instead of malabay ang waste food, ihatag na lang. Ato na lang sa kuan.
Have you tried also coordinating with the National Nutrition Council of the Philippines on this level, on this particular program, Pam?
Oh yes. When I started the foundation, of course, nutrition and hunger, right? So they know which so I went to them and asked kung unsay mga places nga kinahanglan daghang kay undernourished children. So I've worked with them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And a program on kining ato ang pag pili, at least maka-relate kaning idea ha, Pam, no? Especially sa ato ang mga ginikanan sa mga konsumidor nga katong itong imong giingon nga magpili ka sa pinakagwapa nga imong paliton sa merkado, which there are a lot of people nowadays, no? Ako ang hibaw-an, they choose katong na ay mga bangag-bangag sa mga utanon because for them mao kuno na ang pinaka-best kay wa mabutangi ug wa dapati og chemical, something like that.
Ideally. So now now that they're aware of this, so ayaw intaon mo, ayaw lang intaon mo. You know, if you see those kanang mga goods bitaw nga dili kayo na kagwapa, you still buy it. Otherwise malabay lang na. It turns out to be emit gas in the landfill.
Right.
So makadaot sa tong environment. So mas maayo ko na. At that's why bitaw art, these community pantries really works. Kay instead of ilabay na to, kay labi na mga household nga daghan sobrang pangumpra, kanang we can give it, donate it to the community pantries na magamit sa ubang tao facing hunger, you know.
Now, during this time of the pandemic, ma'am, considering na hotel operations are let's say 20% operational only. So, how did you sustain your program?
Most of our donors now are come from manufacturers like San Miguel Corporation, Mondanisin, you know. So it does not only come from hotels. Actually, those, and also surprisingly from mga kuan bitaw kanang call centers.
Okay.
Kay kani mga call centers they buy food for the employees. Yeah, when it's near, like one of our donors is TDCX.
Okay.
Yeah, so they've been very consistent. So once nani sila yung mga excess food, and then near expiry food, and they call us and we rescue it, and then amo nang ipanghatag sa mga soup kitchens. And now food pantries. Actually, this food pantry has been going on before. Wala lang sa Cebu, no? Through our foundation, but wala lang kayo na publicize.
Yeah. So, dili gid mo publicity hungry.
Actually, kung di pa ta kaila, wouldn't be here. If you did not force me, I'm just joking.
Okay. Are you also addressing this issue on sa ato ang mga senior citizen?
Yes, Art, yes. But before my foundation, I started about children and hunger. But now during the pandemic, we're also, catering to the seniors. Yeah, because we're supporting the soup kitchen, right? Like we have one in Mabolo, together with Father Pat Ornopia. So, so we're feeding like 2,000 now in different barangays around the area.
You mean to say that one in Gasa sa Gugma, something like that?
Yes,
by the orphanage or by the
my Sisters of Charities. Yes.
Yeah, charity.
Yeah, Sister John Amelia. Yeah, we have biscuits and some stuff, toiletries. So whenever we have, then we share with them also.
Okay. Yeah. So now in implementation, ma'am, sa ato ang program for the children, how do we assess nga kani siya after the mukaon sila, and then do we have some kining programs nga kini kinahanglan ni nga mao ni imong kan-on aron matsakto kag timbang sa imong saktong edad, something like that?
Yes, Art. We don't do like kanang feedings na just one-time feedings.
Pakaon lang, yes.
Yeah,
okay.
we would like to have the sustainable feeding, like at least 90 days. So we weigh them before we start feeding them.
I see.
And then we will look at like the one I told you in Carmen. We've been doing that. Yeah, but since the start of the pandemic, na wala na face-to-face, feeding, like we used to feed kanang mga elementary school students, you know. Because what happens, Magud Art, with our feeding program, kanang, there's the SWD and also DepEd feeding, but some of them, they start na when mga August na, and then actually, kung dili na ma-liquidate, mahuman na sila by December. So it's usually the NGOs who takes over and do the feeding program.
Yeah, because there are also some NGOs that are addressing this particular or this kind of project, Pam, no? Ang ilahat sa nagitanaw is not only feeding the children, and then afterwards, paulis bay, tuwa dito, kaon sa ginagmay, hugaw-hugaw sa so, mawagtang kuno ang kini holistic approach sa programa ba. So in your case, so human 90 days. So unsa man timbangon ang bata o nitambok ba siya o naarang-arang ba siya?
Yeah, in our experience in Carmen, it helps. Yeah, a lot of children na graduated na they're not in the program anymore because we give priority to those undernourished children, Jude.
I see.
And the younger, the better. And there's also program actually na would feed kanang mga lactating mothers bitaw. Kay iba as only the first 1,000 days sa bata. That's very crucial. Yeah. So it works, Bia. It works if only kanang tutok lang. And my experience ba, when you go into usually in LGU, they're not focus on kanang hunger and malnutrition but once an NGO gets in, so it would give notice sa LGU ba na, you know, they'll be challenged or they want to work with you actually, no?
Okay,
so
it's a big challenge, no, on your part, no, because you know, for a fact na there are some LGUs na issue on hunger is not one of the priority programs, and then here you come, here you are addressing this issue as an NGO, meaning from the outside sphere of the political spectrum of a political local government unit. So, ining approach niyo, unsa mo niyo nga, mayor mo ni atong buhaton, something like that, or you present something. Nga, na you have already the demographic profile of a particular locality nga mao ni gidaghanon sa imong malnourished nga mga kabataan.
Most of them are, they have they have the information.
They have the data.
They have the data, that's right. Yeah, they have the data already, how many undernourished children. So actually, we were very successful in working with Carmen and Mandawi also. Actually, the first food bank in Cebu would have started in Mandawi had wala change in administration.
Okay.
The change of administration.
I see.
So naundang ang program, you know, we would have started it because they were very responsive and they were willing to give us a space to start the food bank, you know. Well, unfortunately now, the city of Cebu, you know, we tried our best, but it's still in the works. They still haven't implemented it. You know, there was already.
You mean to say it's still on the pipeline?
You know, we really work hard with Councilor Alvin. It's very frustrating that until now they have not implemented it. But I've talked to Mayor Ahong of Lapu-Lapu, and he's very receptive. I will go back and talk to him again. So maybe we can start on something. Yeah, because he and his wife was very receptive.
I see. So instead of giving it to the city of Cebu, you might as well transfer to another receptive locality or local government unit.
Yeah, none of them, ang good art, are receptive. But I mean, they can make ordinances, but the implementation is also very important. So the executive branch has to be equally cooperative to the legislative branch. So na ang challenge diha but ideally unta Jude, maigi Jude in major cities na agi food bank para centralize ang collection ba. And then this food bank will be the one to give to community pantries. Karon man good, what happened is mga community pantries are mushrooming everywhere. There's no policy. So muna magkagubot, di ba? As we know what happened, you know. So wala bitay guidelines na you can only donate kanang non-perishable, you know, like kanang personal care or mga, you know, walay guidelines ba? So everything goes, you know. So had there been a food bank in major cities like what happened in Yolanda?
Right.
Had there been a food bank here, you know, everything would not be hansak sa DSWD, right? There's another body that will take care of it. Because this one will be manned by business and civil society. So mas mayon ta gyud ideally na
with this mushrooming now of the community pantries, it's a sort of nga mura og the weakest part of the government nga ang mga tao di nakahuat og unsa ayuda sa gobyerno.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. When it's stalled ba the ordinance, we're about to start. Not that we were so eager to start it together with the Ramon Abitis Foundation and Councilor Dizon. So wala, it lost its momentum. So mga tao na lang. So that's what I'm doing. Ako na lang.
Okay, you still have the urge, you still have the passion, but the support of the government is somewhat lacking.
Yes, yeah, but the national government has been very responsive. It's just the local,
Yeah, I'm
government.
just talking about the local.
In Cebu,
Yeah.
in particularly, art hunger, mango is urgent.
Yeah.
Hunger
You
is
cannot
urgent.
wait.
Yeah, when children are hungry, they want to eat, diba? So kani mga program nga kanabitong mga planting, farming, it works because it shortens the food chain.
Okay.
You plant and then you eat it.
Yeah.
But we have to have kuan bitaw kanang another program ba urgent jud nga to deal with hunger, and that it's food banking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We have more discussion on this particular topic. My dear televiewers, or our guest, Ms. Pamela here, the Executive Director of the Simply Share Foundation Incorporated. After these reminders, don't go away. Once again, welcome to our weekly show, My Politics. This is your host, Art Barrit. Our guest this evening is Ma'am Pamela Baricuatro, the Executive Director of the Simply Share Foundation Incorporated. Ma'am Pam,
Yeah.
okay. We'll not talk about your frustrations. But we'll be discussing on your coordination with the different government agencies. Okay. Earlier, you made mention about the National Nutrition Council of the Philippines. You have the DSWD, you have the Department of Health, and so forth, and so on and so forth. Okay. Now, with the different government agencies, sometimes the bureaucratic red tape is so long. You might as well indulge yourself with the non-bureaucratic agencies or non-governmental organizations for that matter. So it's easy to coordinate with the church. Sometimes it's easy to coordinate with a foundation. So, unsa may mong i-prepare?
Your question is unsay akong
Yeah, which in your approach with the implementation sa imong programa, it's easy for you nga maabot yun nga to sa grassroots level.
Yes.
So it's easy to approach with the church,
Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
Foundation or what.
Yeah, that's why sometimes I work working with the church. You only have to deal with the parish priest, and then you start your feeding. But if you go with the government, you have to go to the LGUs. So many, a bureaucracy.
Okay.
Sometimes we
Let's
stay
say
away from the.
You have funding, you have to
I have the goods,
get it
I have
from the
to-
provincial government, or in the case of a province, or in the case of a city, you have to deal with the city government, and then down the line. So it takes time.
Yes, Art. Actually, kanang sa National Nutrition Council, they have policies na it goes through the capital pa, and then they don't. Of course, they have lots of things to do there. It's not their only focus. So before it reaches the grassroots, it will take a long time. So and then sometimes there's no system of coordination between other agencies. Like DepEd does their feeding,
Okay.
the DSWD also has programs. So it's really missing yun ang system of coordination, in government. But luckily now, Secretary Nograles is created a interagency task force on zero hunger. So now naanay gamayng coordination.
May movement. No?
Naanay gamay movement in the national level.
At the national
But
level.
in the local level, that's still very challenging. I don't want to say more.
With your involvement with the foundation or some other some foundation for that matter, no? Because as an NGO, you look for something nga dako siya coverage.
Yeah, I work in coordination also hand in hand with Ramon Abitis Foundation. They've been
Okay.
very happy with giving each other, support, and also Kusina Kalinga.
Okay.
Of course, Rise Against Hunger, my partner in Manila, has been very supportive and sending us food. Anything donated by San Miguel Corporation has been entrusted to us. So,
Okay.
luckily I'm fortunate that we have friends.
Sure. Is that part of the corporate social responsibility or addressing issues on hunger?
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah. Like San Miguel, they're into food business. So,
Okay.
so I'm so glad that Ramon Ang is into food banking also. That,
Okay.
so he even donated a space for food bank in Manila, the first one in Tondo. So hopefully something like that will be replicated in Cebu.
I see,
Yeah.
I see.
I'm calling all the.
Talking about a conglomerate, the San Miguel is a big corporation and they have a lot of subsidiary businesses, like for instance a farm and a poultry. So you could easily ask what meat products or the chicken to be included in your local or in your feeding programs with the children.
Actually, during the pandemic last year, yeah, we had donations from San Miguel, a lot of, and also from the Kings, Kings, the sausage and all. So we had a lot of donations from these corporations,
Okay.
So that's why it's best that we have a food bank, so that the collection will be centralized
right,
on
right,
tao,
right,
and then
right. Yeah.
mahatag na sa mga different soup kitchen and also mga community pantries.
Okay. Now, in implementing ito the grassroots level or nga to sa mga kabarangayan, Pam, magdadagdag kong mga kaldero, something like that?
Yes,
magluto?
no. During the pandemic, what we did is it was a partnership between the Rotary Club of Cebu and the Navy Reservist and also Diocese of Cebu and Simple Share Foundation. So we had a kitchen at the Mobolo Parish and also at the Navy Reservist office. So what we do is we'll just call the LGU.
Okay.
They usually come. They have kind of mga multi-cabs, and then we give them the caldero.
I see.
And then they bring it back because of the pandemic, so we cannot go there.
I see. Aside from feeding the children, what goodies are you giving to our children also? Naamoy mga pakapin nga maintay sila pag duol or pag tunga during the feeding program?
I worked this with Father Pat Arnopia of Mobolo Parish. He does catechism in Paknaan, Mandaue. So we have children there, so he teach them how to pray, and then afterwards we give them, we feed them.
So just invite and entice them nga naa sila diha.
Actually, Art, sa mga eskwelahan gani, once children, kanang mga luoy ba kay mga bata, kaya na mga uban na they just go to school when they know there's a feeding program because there's nothing really much to eat at home.
In their home.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Did you experience that one? Nakita ka anak nga something or that kind of sa mga kabataan na to?
Oh yes, it's heartbreaking. In Barangay Apas, let's say in Barangay Apas, there's IT Park there, right? And then behind the mga bata diha naluoy kayo. And then they just go to school because there's food. Yeah.
You see? So, grabe, no? The experience that you had. Looking with the children, okay.
It's heartbreaking, but it's also very inspiring.
Exactly. Yes. And you are a mother of a doctor, a professional, working in the U.S., right?
Yeah, she's based in
big hospital.
She's based in Singapore.
Okay. So that's my. I just learned it today from you. No?
I have nobody to feed
I
Art.
thought that's in the province, no?
Yeah.
In the city as well. Yeah.
I've stopped. I finished already feeding all her classmates and everything. So now it's time to feed other children.
Okay. So indeed, nga dako nga hagit, no? Nga mao ni ang ato ang gibuhaton. I hope ang ato ang mga government officials, especially the local government officials, will really tackle and address this particular issue on hunger.
Yeah.
And this is not a political issue. Okay?
It's a universal,
It's
global.
a universal and global issue.
Precisely, Art. 800 million people are hungry. And you know what? 60% of these are children and women, And to think, like 1/3 of the food is wasted. So, kana tatong food, at least 25% man lang, Imagine 1.3 billion tons of food are wasted every year. Na this could have kuan kanang mapakaunin nato sa mga bata ba?
Exactly, yeah.
So,
and how would be a competitive country when it comes to the development of the minds of our children of saktong nutrition in their growing up years?
Yeah.
So it's also very important.
And it also affects the economy, Art, because it's also it drains the economy when you have when you have this kind of children growing up undernourished, once undernourished na sila, weak na sila, di na kaya sila maayo og kanang brain development. So it will really drain, the economy and also the government. As, so muna we have to deal with this one, malnutrition and hunger.
So you're already making some hangyo good to our government officials, and I'm happy to note nga it's something like nga ang at the national level naanay naminaw.
Yes, yeah. They have already the Pilipinas kontra gutom.
Okay. But when you started, if I remember right, during your launching of this program, you had Secretary Durisa, who attended your launching of this program.
Yeah, it was the Hunger Forum in Cebu. Because I was starting to ask already, how come the government is not engaging us? We're feeding here, we're feeding there, but no engagement. So that's when during the forum, we made an executive order request to Secretary Duresa if they can start the Zero Hunger Commission. Well, unfortunately, it took a few years before.
It took so many years before Secretary Nograles took over or have this kind of awareness on this particular program.
Yeah, it took years of lobbying and advocating, Then I'm happy that, everything's, looking good now as far as food waste and food banking bills are going in Congress right now.
Pam, if I am a budding politician, or if I am a politician who is planning to run for a national office, this is a good.
It's a good platform, no?
A good platform.
Even you, if you're planning to run, this could be a good platform. If you're planning to be in the... This is a good platform, Art. Let me tell you.
I'm not a candidate.
Just in case, you never know. You're very marketable. Okay. You'll make a good one, huh?
Okay, my dear televiewers, here, Miss Pamela Baricuatro. Ma'am Pam, ato ang statement to our televiewers with regards to your project, with regards to your program, unsi ato ang hangyo, unsi ato ang gustong mapaabot, mapaminaw ngadto nila. So, you can share and you can approach our televiewers.
Thank you, Art. And mahangyo unta ko sa atong mga igsuon na keep kanang supporting mga community pantries, and if you have kanang mga donations, and please let us know, call us. we need kanang donations, food and otherwise, and also those corporations na naamoy ihatag, please contact us. Anytime we will rescue the food so we can donate it to food pantries and soup kitchens all over Cebu.
I see. Okay.
Another message, Art, is waste. Be mindful of food waste. We start with ourselves na di ta mag-usik-usik og pagkaon, because kaning pagkaon mo ato na ni sa atong i-waste na food mo ato na sa landfill. It will emit gas, gas house gas, and it's very bad for the environment. So instead of makadaot pa sa environment, share it, donate it.
Yeah. Right. You better give us your contact number, Ma'am Pam, and then how to approach or address our kini ug naa mi gusto, or if I ato ang mga televiewers or the different corporations nga ganahan sila mo share, no? So you better have this in our kining ato ang show nga atong ihatag sa ato nya nga sa studio.
We have a Facebook page, and we also have a website, so you can just message us in Facebook. So just call us and we'll be there. Rescue the food.
So you tried this, Ma'am Pam, sa pag-approach or pag-address or request to the different establishment?
Yes, manginaot unta mi nga naay naminaw karon ng mga establishments, kuan mga manufacturers, mga suppliers, even mga farmers. If you have food to donate, please contact us through Facebook, and we will be willing to kanang rescue the food for you. Kanang mga near expiry food, pagkaon pag yun na siya, Art, magamit pag yun na.
But I'm sure you have already some listing, no, sa imong regular donors of
Oh, yes,
the
yeah.
food items.
Yes, we also have friends na kanang donating ba? Kanang financial, kuan ba?
So can they donate cash to
Yes, yes.
the
Yes.
organization or to your foundation?
Yes, yes,
And
Art.
it will be duly receipted?
Oh, yes, Art.
Okay.
Yeah, we do that one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because
you just
they'll be
contact us.
using also that as their something tax deduction
Yes,
or
Art.
something.
Yeah. That's why it's good to donate to NGOs because you can get kanang receipts and tax deductions. Yeah.
I see. Okay, okay. So, I think, Ma'am Pam, you have covered a lot and then in our discussion, and I'm sure there are a lot of our televiewers who are also very interested to share something nga sa ilahang hinubra, makahatag sila, kapaambit sila sa ato ang mga kaigsuunan, no? Especially our children. Okay. Ma'am Pam, our parting statement to our televiewers this evening.
Thank you, Art, for having me here. And I'm sure magpadayon ni ang ato ang igsuonay through this kanang community pantries. And also I hope that people will be helping each other and collaborating.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ma'am Pam, and I hope also nga this will not be the last nga ato ang pagkikumbuya, pagkikita, and sharing to our televiewers and our program nga mapadayon. To our televiewers, this is your host, Art Barrit. Manamilit na lang umuingon nga samtang muhingos pang ilong sa tao. Iyang mga pangandi ug tingos bawan way katapusan. Daghang salamat, good evening, bye-bye.